Oh, exactly, mate. And I didn't realize that Tavo isn't the only Latin American player here. And Vanson is here as well. I didn't know if he was going to check in or not. So it's great to see him, you know, another Peruvian player just doing what they can on that DGen sleep cycle.
We also have Endeavor from Brazil.
True.
Yeah, there's something going on here in Latino America. But regardless, we are going to be getting this TvP underway. It's of course going to be on 2000 atmospheres LE. And in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner, we have a pink Protoss player coming out all the way from the land of Poland. The pink Polish Protoss player. He's of course going to be representing Genesis Gaming. We have ArT.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 atmospheres LE, we have the Latin American Terran player representing Team Super. He just took down Azure. It is Tavo.
Side note, I just looked at Tavo's Wikipedia page, and the picture that they have for him looks like Neo, but with a drawn on beard.
Tavo does have more facial hair
Very
than
well
Neo.
drawn on beard. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Tavo also has curlier hair than Neo. Oh, it's hard to say because Neo keeps it short. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's possible. It's possible that they could just literally be twins. Just one is hairier than the other.
Oh, it's just like that story in the Torah.
It's just like Arnold
I don't
Schwarzenegger
remember
and
the
Danny DeVito in
Danny
Twins.
DeVito. But which one is the Danny?
I think we all know who the Danny is. Okay. Oh god. Oh, but here we are, you know, as we're getting into our game, and yeah, I just again, it's a matchup that we don't see too often. Again, this is what I love about our tournament. We don't get it often enough outside of it, but we get like different regions colliding. You know, when's the last time you saw a player from Latin America go up against a European player? Outside of like, you know, your Special and Cham and Kelliser, you know, like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I was a little bit worried when I said that, you know, despite opening up the tournament, we would still for the most part have players from this time zone. But yeah, I'm glad to see that after 13 of these weeklies, we have a lot of different regional representation coming in here.
Yeah,
it's always interesting to see them interact.
It's really cool. It's definitely cool. I think a lot of people just assumed that we would get a lot of Koreans, and we did. Don't get me wrong, but we have a lot of Europeans as well. We have a lot of North Americans, Latin Americans. It's something that I really, yeah, it's cool that it turned out this way. Is I guess what I'm trying to get at. And speaking of trying to get at this, we see Tavo opening up with the 3 racks.
Yep, and ArT has no idea that this is coming his way. He might have a little bit of an inkling. He did see those 4 Marines chase down his Adept earlier on. Very nice snipe on the Adept, by the way, from Tavo. But yeah, he hasn't been able to confirm the 3 racks just yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Marine count is a little bit telling, but only a little bit, right? Like, there can only be so many things that this could be. One of them could be a 3 racks, as ArT is still a little bit in the dark. Himself opening up with the Twilight Council with that blink. No Stargate here, but yeah.
Yeah. Very safe opening here for ArT. Again, not entirely sure what's coming his way, but blink, you can do a lot with blink.
Oh yeah. Blink is great. Blink is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't like an aggressive opener either. There was no gateway explosion behind this. Just a handful of stalkers just to get map control, just to get a little bit of scanning information. And we can see ArT is being instead a little bit greedier, going for that 3rd base, going for a much more economic focused opening.
Like this a lot. Does mean that, you know, as long as ArT is able to deflect the initial wave from Tavo, he will be sitting in such a pretty economic position. The first wave of the 3 racks is always the scariest for the Protoss player. But as long as you're able to hold it and you're not dead, well, like we said, you survived the scariest part.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared just because we don't have any shield batteries yet. This hallucination scout is going to be so important. ArT needs to spot this army as it's moving out across the map, and it looks like, oh my god, it's going to run into it!
Just like so. Even confirms the Marauders and whatnot. Very good scout here from ArT. But we are at 2,000 atmospheres. This is a pretty short rush distance. We'll see what his defenses are looking like. I do like that he's being active with the Stalkers. We don't have concussive shells yet.
Yeah, but we do have stim. We haven't seen a stim yet from Tavo. Like, stims are so important right now. Like, he cannot waste them because oh my god, he got a bunker up. What?
Wow, I did not even notice that. Tavo completely able to just sneak this bunker up entirely. He will be able to cancel this third base. He even stims inside the bunker because he can.
Mate, the bunker is so
wow.
big brain. We'll see if it pays off here because ArT does have Blink. He's trying to focus down. We have our first stim, and it looks like he's gonna get the Nexus. It's so close.
All right, as long as he gets the Nexus, this will have been worth it for Tavo, and he is able to kill it. No cancels here because it was a finish. It was a finished building, and now ArT, yeah, he is feeling some pressure. He needs to do something to equalize or to just equalize a little bit, or go all in.
Yeah, like, let's be real here. If it wasn't for that bunker, ArT would have cleaned this up and it would have dealt no damage. Like, it would have maybe traded with some Stalkers and that's it. Like, it was so crucial that ArT was able to get the scout when he did. So great scouting by ArT. Unfortunately, he didn't notice that bunker. So Tavo still able to deal some damage, still in this.
Yeah, to cut him a little slack though, I didn't even notice the bunker. And I'm an observer.
I just wasn't expecting it, mate. You know?
I kind of saw the SCV moving on. I'm like, oh, that's a misrallied SCV.
Yeah.
How wrong I was.
I didn't think much of it. Meanwhile, we do have our Blink Stalkers getting that high ground vision with this observer, so he is able to lay the third CC by a little bit.
Yeah, but that bunker here in the main base is really going to be... I mean, it's really going to be crucial. Tavo may potentially win the game with bunkers. I mean, absolute MVP for him.
I mean, bunkers are actually the MVP right now, just because his tank production was delayed because of the 3 racks, and ideally you have tanks to defend against these Blink Stalkers. Thankfully for Tavo, again, the gateway explosion was a little bit late, or even now there are only 4 gateways up and running, so ArT couldn't really pressure too much. He couldn't like blink into the main base and YOLO, otherwise he would have just lost everything. So Tavo was relatively safe.
On the flip side, though, ArT is doing a pretty good job of containing Tavo on 2 bases. At the moment, he's starting to give up a couple of his Stalkers, but blinks away at the first sign of trouble.
Exactly. Again, he's just trying to buy a little bit of time, just trade, just keep his opponent busy as he's trying to get his third base back up and running. Here we go. It's fully saturated. Finally, he has it again. But now it's time to move out. Tavo, he's got his tanks. He's got his upgrades. +1 just finished up. Is now the time to move out. He is just posturing his army to actually get his own third up and running. ArT sees this and he just takes the fourth.
I swear to God, lad, I thought Tavo was pulling the boys, but nope, he is just transferring. He is just transferring the workers, trying to get back in this game economically. ArT did scout this, as he was saying, and notices, wait a minute, you're not pushing out anytime soon. You're investing a lot. Oh no, that tank! It is so low now, Jesus! 1 health!
He almost
one health!
He almost one-shot his own tank, mate. Oh my, that would have been devastating.
That wouldn't just been devastating. If I was Tavo and I killed my tank by mistake, I would just GG out.
Oh
immediately.
God, that could have been game, mate. That could have been game. Thankfully, he keeps his tank alive. He is able to repair it. He does end up establishing his third base here. Scans confirms the 4th is on the way, and I wonder if that's now going to be kind of his target, and if he moves out soon, because the longer this game goes on, I get worried for Tavo because we have Colossus. Storm is on the way as well. I say Storm. The Templar Archives just finished up for eventually Storm. There we go. There are the first couple of High Templar. This Protoss army is getting a little bit terrifying.
Yeah, they really are. Ghost Academy only now halfway done for Tavo, and of course it's still going to take a while for him to build up those forces and build up the energy. I'm liking this a lot from ArT. A little bit of a forward gateway, but Tavo's about to scout it, so.
Yeah, the double drop is going to confirm this gateway here. It looks like he may be able to deal with that. At the same time, ArT's main army is looking to push up this ramp. It is still a ramp, and we do have decent tank positioning here. I don't know if this is the best move, but to be fair, a lot of the supply for Tavo is not here. Oh, he got siege! No! No, Puppy, no!
Worst time in the world to unsiege. A lot of these tanks are now being exposed to the charge lots. SCVs trying to provide a buffer, but they actually get stuck behind a bio. Oh man, ArT is just absolutely rolling through this army. Again, this is only half the army of Tavo. The other half is in the middle of the map, and GG is called. ArT takes game number 1. Oh, that was honestly a brilliant early game from Tavo, but as the game went on, it did feel that he was just completely falling off.
Yeah, like that was a beautifully executed like 3 racks there by Tavo. It was great what he was able to accomplish. It was great that he was able to get a kill on that 3rd base. Good start. But
Yeah.
as we saw,
Yeah.
it's just such a shame that he unsieged when he did. Like, I don't want to say that if that didn't happen, he would have won the engagement, but obviously it would have been a little bit different. It also doesn't help that he had no idea where the army was. He had no idea that he had to reposition his own army to protect his tanks.
Yeah, I don't know if Tavo would have won the engagement there, but I do think that it would have been even. He would have traded a little bit evenly. You know, those tanks get a couple of their shots off on the Colossus a little bit earlier. Maybe take them out again a little bit earlier. He would still have lost a lot of his own forces, but it would have been an even. It could have been an even trade.
Yeah.
You know, factor in the rest of the army that was in the middle of the map. You know, if that was at home helping out, then yeah, he could have won with that, I suppose.
Yeah, that was just like a really unfortunate timing there for Tavo. Just being in the dark for a lot of things, right? Where the army was, in the middle of moving out as well. So very nicely done there by ArT. He was able to take game number 1. And we'll see what Tavo has in store for us for game number 2. Because again, I feel like he's the kind of player he's gonna come into this very planned, like just like we saw in game 1. Like he's gonna come in with an idea of something to execute to get ahead. I doubt he's gonna sit back and play like a more standard, 1v1 TvP.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to what Tavo is gonna pull off from here, because I gotta be honest, like that game number 1 did not go how I thought it would. I mean, towards the end there, ArT, it didn't have too much trouble defeating Tavo, but that early game was very, very shaky. I'm more optimistic for Tavo than I was initially going into the series.
Yeah, it's all gonna come down to what he has prepared on this map, because I think we both agree that ArT is the favorite here, period. as we saw, like he's just a very solid. Yeah, he's the number 1 seed for a reason. So Tavo, he's gonna come out here to try and cause that upset. Can he pull it off? Can he take a game off of that number 1 seed?
We're about to find out. As we do load in here, do apologize for the little bit of the wait here. It's a little bit of a lobby bug from one of our plays.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. It happens throughout the tournament sometimes. But now both of our players are ready. We are diving into game 2.
And it's going to be on a very different map.
Oh yeah. Gangnam?
Has he been watching Honmono?
I hope not. it's not gonna work, mate.
And Trigger's in the bracket today. I hope he plays a PVT, and I hope his Terran opponent goes Gangnam, just so he has flashbacks to that night that he played against Honmono.
Yeah.
He won that game.
He did. He pretty dominantly.
Yeah.
It wasn't as close as we would have liked it to be.
Unfortunately. But, of course, we are going to be continuing our series now on Pride of Altaris LE. We're over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have a pink Polish Protoss player all the way from the land of Poland. Kind of showing his dominance a little bit in game number 1, but also proving that he can bleed. He is our number 1 top-seeded player. He is representing Genesis Gaming, ArT.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE, we have the Peruvian Terran player himself representing Team Super. It is Tavo.
Unidos?
He's up,
Yeah. Yeah, he used to be on
It's-
Unidos de...
Uh-huh.
I remember what it's called. It says Unidos. It's Unidos. I
Uh-huh.
remember what it's called.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure you do.
I remembered what it's called.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, I don't anymore.
Unidos por el vicio is
El Vicio. That's what it
hey,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's united by our vices. It's vices being like
I remember
you know,
there was like a V in there. Yeah.
yeah.
That's how I remember.
That is his old team. This is a bug that happens in StarCraft. It's why sometimes when some of the Ducklings play, they don't have their Duckling logo here. It just shows the previous logo instead. It happens.
Never forget downfall Oreo.
True. Oh god. But yeah, here we see ArT being a little bit annoying. Does force the CC in a bit of an awkward position.
Already a very good start from ArT here. Yeah, forces the CC in an awkward position, confirms that there is no Reaper coming its way, so Tavo has been saving his gas for a reactor.
Yeah, so a pretty juicy scout here for the time being. Meanwhile, because we're on Pride of Altaris, I have to wonder if maybe ArT is going to mix things up. I don't think he needs to. I don't think he has to do anything fancy, like Blink Stalkers have been working for him, but this is what I was curious about. Because it's longer, it's kind of a suitable map for Stargate.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen quite a number of Protoss players like going into Phoenixes on Pride of Altaris. As you said, they're fast, they zoom across the map, they can do some harass, they can also, if they know that the Terran opponent is a bit more aggressive, they are also a fantastic source of crowd control in the tanks. It's kind of the meta that we have here in PvT. It's either open up for the Protoss player, either open up with Blink or open up with a Stargate for either Phoenixes or Oracles.
Yeah, I mean, Stargate openers, I think, are most of the time preferred. It's just that on smaller maps, it can be really difficult to pull off. Like, imagine if we were on 2,000 atmospheres and you're up against a 3-Rax, right? It can be very difficult to defend. So, yeah, it doesn't take that risk.
What are those Phoenixes gonna do, yeah.
Didn't take that risk then, but is going for it here. As ArT is opening up with an Oracle, we'll see how many Oracles, and we'll see if ArT does end up committing into Phoenixes. Just because it's a Stargate opener doesn't mean that's where we're headed.
Yeah, you want to have at least one Oracle here as a Protoss player. If you keep it alive, it's going to be uber helpful in the defense, but ArT is committing to a second Oracle now. That means he wants to harass.
Oh yeah, he is not just about that scouting, he's about dealing that damage. With 2 Oracles, you can one-shot SCVs, so again, you have to be that much more careful. Meanwhile, we do have a winner by
The mine! Just out of range here. I think ArT has identified there's a bit of a line going there. Oh, but he didn't count on the second mine, so that Oracle does get taken out. It's very annoying.
Yeah, honestly,
right now for ArT, and that kind of stifles the aggression.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. That means there is no one-shot potential, not anymore. We only have a single Oracle remaining, and the previous one only got 2 kills. Meanwhile, in come the Adepts, in come the Oracle. ArT just kind of converging with everything he has, but again, only gets a single SCV.
He really wants to deal some damage here.
Yeah, but he
ain't able to get it.
He's just not finding it. So far, the defenses from Tavo have been pretty good. Meanwhile, those 2 Widow Mines are no longer here. They are in a medevac zooming out across the map.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Tavo will confirm that that is a 3rd Nexus on the way already for ArT. That's where he's going to be converging the rest of his forces, I imagine.
Exactly. On top of that, ArT is investing into these Phoenixes, so with them, he will have map control, he will have dominance of the air, but here comes that Widow Mine drop. Up!
Nice pullback here from ArT. Only 2 probes going to go down. Tavo will pick them back up, but I don't know if he's going to be able to keep them alive, man. These Phoenixes are chipping away at him.
Exactly, the Phoenixes will shut down this drop, but unfortunately there is no armory for Tavo, so the Widow Mines will get cleaned up as well. 2 Widow Mines for 2 probes, not ideal, but at least he was able to get a scout off and confirm that there are Phoenixes on the map.
Yeah, that's probably more valuable for the mine drop to
my
get.
God.
Oh, and ArT can get reinforcements. ArT can lift up a tank, puppy! Okay, the Marines do converge, so yeah, it's going to be preventing the Phoenixes from doing anything there. But This gives ArT such a big heads up.
Mate, every single time ArT he just runs into the army. He just knows where to go every single time. Meanwhile, we see a stasis ward. Tavo does bait it out quite nicely. We have 2 tanks. Are they going to be enough? Can he protect them? Can he keep them safe from those phoenixes?
Well, I'm liking this a lot. Like, there's also a Liberator here to prevent the chargelets from getting free damage up on top of it. But now the Phoenix is starting to move around. The missile turrets aren't done yet. Marines just slightly out of position there.
Oh my god, the missile darts will not be finishing up, but we have 1 more SCV remaining, and he will be just barely able to finish it. Both even.
Let's go! SCV? What?
He doesn't go for it yet. Meanwhile, here we go. ArT, he wants to try and save this base. He converges with everything he has. He even pulls the boys.
Oh, it's such a risky maneuver right now for ArT. He lifts up both of the tanks, but the Marines do target it down. Even a Haluked Immortal here to try to distract or tank a couple of shots, but it does not seem to be enough. This Nexus got dangerously low, but it is still alive. And now it is going to be enough. GG is called, and Tavo ties up that series sideways 1-1. Oh lord.
I was really worried because the second missile turret wasn't made, but at the same time, like, Tavo, like, his overall position was so good there with his tanks, with his liberators. He even had a Viking mixed in, and he was even able to finish up one of those missile turrets. So the Phoenixes had a really hard time CCing. Also, that hit just before charge as well.
Yeah.
Charge still needed a little bit more time.
Yeah, if Charge was available at the start of the engagement or even a little bit beforehand, there was absolutely no way Tavo would have been able to establish his foothold. But that was a very good timing here from our purple Terran player, our Peruvian Terran player, and yeah, it was just enough damage to take him out. Also, let's not forget, Tavo wasn't the only one who went into that map with a plan. ArT also, you know, he had a lot of plans for his oracles, but they were just prevented from doing much of anything at the start there.
Yeah. Literally nothing. Even in that final engagement where he was trying to get some value out of them, Tavo just baited them out with a single Marine each, the stasis traps, I mean. So, like, the oracles didn't really impact the game at all. So the opener did kind of set ArT behind a little bit, losing them so early on, and again, not really being able to make use of their spells.
And now we're on the ace match, man. Un momento por favor for either player.
Ooh.
Alrighty then, we're going to be concluding this round of 16, best of 3 now on Hardwire LE. We're of course in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have a pink Polish Protoss player coming down all the way from the land of Poland. He is of course going to be representing Genesis Gaming, our top seed for all of Sparkling Tuna Cup. But now in a little bit of trouble, he is ArT.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Peruvian Terran player representing Team Super, pulling things off with a bit of a 2-base all-in in game number 2. Can he maybe do it again? It is Tavo.
Por el vicio.
Sí. Going for a bit of a fake proxy.
Yeah, a little bit of a Bjorn Barracks, as some people call it.
No,
and yeah, I was just gonna say, from what I've been able to observe in this series, from getting a handle of Tavo's style, I feel like we're getting into one of those classic TvP dynamics, right? Where the Terran player, not necessarily favored in the early game, but yeah, they are putting a lot of stock in their early game pushes. But if the Protoss player is able to hold that, then, well, ArT is just gonna run away with the map, essentially. Run away with all the minerals and whatnot.
We'll see if he's going to be able to do that. We'll see if he's going to be able to figure out what's going on, as well as he does confirm that a factory is thrown down, so he should be feeling relatively safe. Did end up producing that first Zealot, though, so you could argue that Tavo's build has already paid for itself, forcing that initial Zealot.
Yeah, it's 100 minerals this early on. ArT rather is able to take out one of the SCVs, so that's not bad.
Oh my god, as Probe almost made it into the main base. So yeah, ArT at least was able to deal some damage, right? Getting that SCV, but overall, I do think that Tavo comes out a little bit ahead here. ArT has to do something with the Zealot, so is going to be moving it across the map to try and delay this CC. We'll see if he's going to be able to do so as he does run into that Reaper.
Passes by the Reaper. Oh! Still better start stepping here.
Love it. Nice moves by ArT. Does keep that Zealot safe and hidden in those steam vents.
Also, you know, helps it sweat out a little bit. Get the impurities out.
Yeah. You know, he had a bit of a flu, a bit of a cold.
Yeah. And now he's well.
Yeah, he was able to regen his shield. He is still moving across the map. Can Tavo hold on to this? We do have another Hellion, but again, the Zealot is tenacious. He doesn't stop. He's here.
Yeah, Hellions do a decent amount of damage against light units, but unfortunately, Zealots do have quite a bit of health on them, as you know, well as a little bit of armor. So it is tougher for Hellions to deal with them than, say, Adepts. Funnily enough.
Yeah. And at least ArT was able to do something with this opener. Again, like, it wasn't the most efficient, it wasn't the best, like being forced to produce units early on, but he was able to, again, delay the CC, find some damage. In the end, he will get cleaned up. Oh, but gets another Hellion. Oh my god. Gets a Reaper as well.
Very effective trade so far from the side of ArT.
Oh my god.
Just goes to show you that building the Zealot preemptively isn't a waste unless you waste it.
Exactly, as he even gets another SCV, and now the Oracle dives in.
I wasn't even paying attention to that. Not quite able to get the layoff, but so what is what I say. ArT still dominating the skies here. We have submarines. What is that going to do against the Oracle? Well, quite a bit, actually, if the Oracle runs out of energy.
Oh, God, but the Oracle has killed every single Marine. It's going to town on this mirror line. Unfortunately, the first Widow Line was forced to burrow here as a part of the ramp. And now ArT is, it feels like miles ahead. ArT already has his natural base up and running, getting fully saturated, transitioning into those Phoenixes as well. This time didn't invest into the double Oracle. I'm sure being a little bit afraid that, again, they wouldn't be able to pay for themselves. But this Oracle, oh my god, did so much.
This Oracle paid for 2 Oracles.
True.
And yeah, we were kind of mentioning that it feels like Tavo is a bit more comfortable in the early game, whereas ArT is a bit more comfortable in the mid game. ArT has already messed up whatever advantage Tavo has gotten in the early game. It's going to be a lot tougher for our Terran opponent now.
Exactly, and he even committed to the draw, but unfortunately for Tavo, we do have a couple of Phoenixes. We do have the Widow Mines barred, but it looks like they will get picked up just in time. Hot pick up there by ArT. He cleans it all up.
Man, after that game number 2, ArT has just decided never again. Gonna tighten up everything I possibly can, make myself safe here, not take any unnecessary risks. And yeah, I'm just looking at Tavo right now, producing tanks, producing Vikings, just trying to get a pretty strong 2-base push out, it seems. Not entirely convinced he's gonna be able to get it.
We'll see. I mean, I also feel as if like going into a third CC from here isn't really going to work out for Tavo. I feel like going for another 2-base all-in is going to be the play, but it also feels a little bit too predictable as well. He just won a game with it, and I'm sure ArT is hyper vigilant. Like, he does have map control right now. He's going to be keeping an eye out for that push.
He just needs to pull all of his boys. That's all he needs to do.
He does. He really does.
Pulling some of his boys.
Oh god, meanwhile the Phoenixes dive into the main base. No, there is literally nothing here to defend. He doesn't go for it though, because he must be thinking, hold on, where's the main army? There it is! He spots it with his observer.
This army is being a little bit, going back and forth a little bit. Not the best control coming out from Tavo. Phoenix is coming in from the back. We have stasis wards in the front, as well as real immortals this time. No haloops.
Exactly, we have shield batteries, we're going to have overcharge as well. He does force a cancel on one of these shield batteries. He has a decent position here. Tanks and missiles are going to be thrown down. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes are a little bit too busy catching reinforcements, so it looks like maybe we are going to see a completion on these buildings.
Yeah, Tavo being very careful here with his Marines. ArT in the middle of the map a little bit. Not really sure. The Disruptor takes out the majority of those Marines, and with that, I think there goes the hopes of Tavo, and that just about go the hopes of Tavo. Maybe able to take out this third Nexus, but so what?
Oh my god, I mean,
Is what ArT is saying.
bearing in mind that Tavo is doubling down, by the way, as he does end up getting the Nexus, he's throwing down more Raxes, he's working on +1 as well. He wants to continue this push, but against Disruptors, like, I don't know, mate.
Yeah, it's rough without Stim or Medivacs. A couple of Zealots moving across the map right now.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, the Nexus are coming out again! No!
Okay, but they only land on the bunker.
I think we need to get the hell out of here. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't feel so good about Tavo. Meanwhile, Zealots do move out across map. They do not have charge, do not have any Twilight Council upgrades, so Tavo should be able to hold on, but is there enough anti-air?
Not quite. The cycle gets lifted, and yeah, these fixes still have plenty of energy on them. There's still plenty of Graviton charges, lifts that he has available for him.
Yeah, just keep shelling away at that bunker. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes are having a field day. Finally, it looks like one of them is going to get taken out, but the Marines are just not good enough. Again, without Stim, without combat shields, like they just don't hold a candle to all these Phoenixes.
I just feel like I'm watching Death by 1,000 Cuts at this point, Light.
No.
Tavo, he tried to fight back as best he could, but I'm looking at a Protoss player at 63 army supply and a Terran player at 25. This is a little bit lopsided, to say the least.
It really is. Like, ArT, as you said, he was upset after game number 2. He was like, nah, mate, you think you're gonna make fun of me? Mate, I'm the #1 seed, mate. Let's go. And here in game number 3, he was just so much more serious, so much more dominant. GG gets called, and ArT takes the series 2-1.
What more did we expect, really, from our #1 seed?
Wow.
He's making it to the finals.
Oh yeah.
No matter what.
It's happening. He is on the road, mate. On the road to victory, and we'll see if he can get there as he does take down his opponent, moves on to the quarterfinals, where, mate, there is no rest for the wicked. We already have our next series.
Money don't go on trees. Oh my! Oh my lord! I know. Oh, I thought we would have to be waiting a long time before we got to see this particular matchup. We're gonna have a PVZ, and it's gonna be ArT versus Mio Micah.
It's a rematch.
It's a rematch.